On January 6, 2025, 23-year-old Mustafa Amir left his home in a tracksuit, expected to return soon. But when hours passed and calls went unanswered, his family started to worry. What began as a case of a missing person quickly turned into something much more serious. A story of deception, digital crime, and ultimately a brutal murder. We spoke with the lead investigator in the case, Deputy Chief of Operations at CPLC, Shabbar Malik, who helped us understand how the investigation unfolded.
Mustafa Amir went missing on 6th January 2025, somewhere in the evening, like 7:40, 7:50, he went missing. His family was concerned because he was not receiving the phone, his phone was switched off. They approached his different friends. They wanted to know about him, but the whole night they were not able to get any clue, or they were not able to get through Mustafa Amir.
When Mustafa did not return home the next morning, the family's worry turned into alarm and they filed a missing persons report.
So next day, on 7th January, they reported to the police station, and FIR was launched on the same day of 7th January 2025 of his missing, which section by law it's section 365. It means he's missing. After that, police started their basic investigation, but there were a lot of things at the same time going on. And the reason was, okay, first of all, whenever someone is reported missing, the SOP which says, okay, first we have to check the profile of the missing person. Either he's a criminal, either he's wanted by some agencies, either he's doing some illegal business activities.
In any missing persons case, the investigators first try to put together the person's background. In Mustafa's case, they found an old FIR registered against him by the anti-narcotics force. This led to a focus on a possible arrest.
So when the police tried to check his background, they found a FIR against Mustafa Amir in January 2024 by ANF in narcotics. So that gave an impression to all the investigators that maybe he's again taken by the any agency related to drugs. It can be excise, it can be ANF. So police directly and indirectly tried to approach the other agencies just to know that Mustafa Amir is with them, or they have arrested Mustafa Amir. So it took like 2 to 3 days, like to check all the other agencies. And police was under impression that either he's arrested by some agencies or either he's self-missing. So these were the two initial and the basic impressions which were developed, which were wrong. I believe they were wrong, but unfortunately this happened.
Slowing down the investigation at first. Days passed and there was still no solid lead. Instead of pursuing other possibilities, the police focused on a possible arrest that never happened. Those first critical days were lost.
Police, along with other agencies, because initially CPLC and police, local police, yani South Zone Police was working on it. After that, they took a lot of they tried to gather a lot of CCTV cameras from his house, from his street, but there was no clue where he went, right, left, anywhere, with whom, because according to the family, he was wearing a tracksuit. He was not properly dressed up when you are going somewhere out for a dinner or with your friends here. So it was a casual way of doing it. So he went there, and the family was under the impression that they will be back. He will be back like in an hour, half an hour, or like just for a short trip.
With no footage or clues, the investigators turned to Mustafa's friends, but the information didn't help much.
After listening to a lot of friends, after meeting them, there was no any such idea that Mustafa Amir has been murdered. Mustafa Amir was like 23. He was not of that much of an age, so his friends or his friend circle was also like teenagers or like very young. So they have different news. Someone was saying that we have seen him, his car has been seen near Amar. Some used to say that we got information through social media, this and that. So that also took a bit while of investigators to check whether the information was correct or not. Actually, when some person himself goes to some place and some bad incident happens there, it's very difficult to track that because you don't have a history. No one is calling them, there is no evidence, he's alone, you don't have a witness to it.
For Mustafa's family, The uncertainty was unbearable. Without any evidence, witnesses, or credible lead, the search seemed to be going nowhere. But Mustafa's mother refused to give up. She continued pushing authorities for answers. Then, 20 days later, a ransom call changed everything.
On 26th January, after 20 days of his missing, family received a call from a WhatsApp number of American WhatsApp number, and they received a call and they demanded ransom money. This is how it came. This case was transferred to AVCC and the CPLC anti-kidnapping team. So on the same day, I remember because I was there. I was very much there. And on 26th of January, that was a Friday. Even it was a Friday, the family was contacted, and we had a meeting at CPLC Governor House where AVCC officials were also present there. And somehow, at the same time, when the meeting was going on, kidnapper again called Mustafa's mother. And this was the time we were listening that call live. After that call ended, and after the whole conversation, one different thing in this ransom caller was saying that once you arrange the money, we will sit together with Mustafa Amir and we will talk. That was something very unusual, and that gave us a bell, alarm that something is wrong. Because most of the time kidnappers avoid, they will sit together, or they will sit with the victim, with the family, because they are always in a hurry. They take ransom, they run away, then they leave the victim somewhere at an abandoned place, and this is how it goes.
In most ransom cases, the kidnappers provide a proof of life, a photograph, a voice note, or some other form of verification. But in this case, nothing was provided.
This type of a call, which was not a proof of life, because after family insisted, because we told them to please check with the kidnapper about the proof of life of the victim. If they can share the voice, they can share the picture or something, any evidence which leads to that Mustafa Amir is alive. But the ransom caller failed to do so, and he was insisting, okay, once you will come with the money, we will sit together, I will call Mustafa Amir in front of you, and I have to talk to, I will talk about few things. And that was giving a different impression to the investigator. Actually, they were misleading the case.
Investigators now had serious doubts over the legitimacy of the phone call. Was it a real ransom demand, or was someone trying to manipulate the family? With no proof of life provided, the investigators turned their focus back to forensic evidence and tracking Mustafa's digital footprint.
There was a challenge for the investigator because Mustafa Amir was not using a regular phone. He was using a non-PTA phone, so there was no question of SIM there. He was using a foreign WhatsApp, and he was using a Wi-Fi device to connect that WhatsApp number. So it was not investigator tried their best to gather information, but like other cases, there was no CDR. Because when you are not using a SIM, there is no CDR. So now you have to go to the next level, or you have to raise the level of the technical side so you can get some information.
This made it difficult to pinpoint Mustafa's movements that night. But the authorities did have another avenue: Mustafa's social circle. Mustafa's mother, once again, reached out to all of his friends, and one of those friends was Armaghan.
He called Armaghan, and Armaghan was not receiving the phone initially. Later on, she had a conversation with Armaghan, and he was not at all cooperative, or he was reacting differently, which again was one of the reason he became a suspect. But that was not the only reason, because it was not enough, because everyone can react differently when they are asked to do, if they are not related or if they are not concerned. At the same time, we tried to get the data, IPADR data of that device which Mustafa Amir was using. We have to raise the level. Our chief was directly involved in the case. IGP was involved in this case, and other South Police, AVCC, all DIGs, everyone was concerned, because at that time there was a lot of hype of this case in the media. Level would raise, the data was requested. The next day the data came, and the IPDR showed that Mustafa Amir phone was switched off near Armaghan house, or in front of Armaghan house, because we were very lucky as tower was very near to Armaghan house. So we were able to make out this is Armaghan house. Already we were looking for a lot of friends, lot of CCTVs. So our team knew where exactly Armaghan lives.
Now, this was the first concrete evidence tying Mustafa's last known location to a specific place. But the final breakthrough came in the form of a voice note that Mustafa had sent a friend.
We got one voice message of Mustafa Amir from his friend in which he messaged him that I'm going to Armaghan house.
राफे भाई मैं थोड़ी देर अरमुगान के घर जा रहा हूँ, वही काली के। तो एक काम करो ना, आप जिम से फ्री हो जाओ एक ही बार, फिर मेरे पास आ जाओ ना, या शावर वावर लेकर आ जाओ, जैसे भी इजी होकर आ जाओ।
It was not the mother who was informed, it was one of his friends. Message was revealed on probably 5th February, if I'm not wrong. Then it was decided to check.
Now, the pieces were falling into place. The investigators obtained a search warrant for Armaghan's house. But what was meant to be a routine questioning turned into something else.
The police, along with the CPLC, went there and knocked the door. There was no one on the door. After some time, they entered into his house, and it was abundant, there was no one. Just it used to, it was the impression that no much people are living there, because only we were able to found one or two servants. They were also in the servant room and were not in the house actually. All of a sudden, from the first floor, someone started shouting and firing on the police. This was a surprise for the police, because in DHA, in a settled area, or because you were for a search, with the search warrant, you wanted to just check that house, or to record the statement of the Armaghan. Police was in this frame of mind, and they went there.
The situation rapidly escalated. Instead of complying with the authorities, Armaghan responded with gunfire, forcing the police to take cover.
All of a sudden, there was a surprise, and he started firing with the big gun. And in the first moment, or in the first minute, one DSP, Hassan Zulfikar, and one police constable, Iqbal, was injured. So now here comes the surprise, and at the same time, I was also informed that such incident has took place, and there is a lot of firing, and we don't know how much people are there on the first floor. But one thing was very clear at that time, that first floor was just like a safe house. You cannot enter. There was a one door, there was a wooden door, there was an iron door, there was a walk-through gate, and it was fenced, so it was very difficult. There was a small passage or small staircase from which you have to approach to the first floor, and from the gate he was firing at the same time. So after that, even I was informed, I also moved to the location. A lot of police came there, other people. SSP AVCC, which is Anil Haider, was also present at the incident place. The investigators were not sure amount of resistance which was coming lead to many questions. Maybe Mustafa Amir is upstairs. Maybe this is the hideout where he's kept. Maybe there is something else which he's trying to hide. So there were a lot of questions in the mind of the investigator at the spot. So what it was decided initially on the first glance, that police will not retaliate, and they will cordon off that area, and they will use a good strategy, so he should surrender. Because if in that incident, in that crossfire, Armaghan, if he would have died, so I think this case was a blind case.
Despite the aggression showed by Armaghan, the police chose not to retaliate with excessive fire. The priority was to contain the situation without losing any evidence. A prolonged standoff ensued, lasting nearly 4 hours. Eventually, it was the intervention of Armaghan's family that convinced him to surrender.
So Armaghan got arrested. His lot of friends were called, and they gave their statement, and we took information as an investigator, like police and CPLC took a lot of information from them. And Armaghan was not cooperative. That was the only reason that his mother used to say, okay, you have to check him. Because no one knew what happened. No one had no idea what happened.
As authorities questioned Armaghan, rumors of his influence spread online, with some claiming that he had over 100 guards protecting his house. Investigators found these claims exaggerated.
So one of the misunderstandings which you're talking about, he used to carry 100 guards outside his house. A lot of videos have been circulating. But that was almost 6 weeks before this incident. because when there were a lot of guards and there was a lot of activities outside his house, so the resident of that house, Momin, and this area complained DHA and police. So police came and police requested them to move these guards, and if they want to keep the guards, they should keep it inside and not on the street, and this chaos should not be created. So the guards were removed like 6 weeks before that incident or the raid.
While some rumors were false, others had merit. Investigators soon realized that Armaghan's house was not just a residence, it was the center of a larger operation.
Number one, there was a lot of weapon and ammunition. I know everyone carries weapon in this society, but I know their limited quantity or ammunition is very limited. But there were probably 7 big guns and a lot of bullets, more than 2,000 if I'm not wrong. Number two, they found some sort of drugs because he was electric, so he used to take drugs and liquor sort of things. And number three, when they went to the first floor, because ground floor was a bit accessible from the kitchen side, but first floor was totally it was a safe house sort of a thing. And because one thing was very clear, Armaghan used to control his house through his mobile. Technically, he was very sound. He he knows he's a good expert of IT. So that's why he did not made any mistake, and he did not left any technical clue.
Beyond the weapons and contraband, the investigators also found an operational call center.
Once police entered his house, they saw a call center, because we have been working with the police since long, so we were able to make out that this is some sort of illegal business of phishing, which has many names: phishing, snooping, dabba, box, a lot of names. But what you do is you buy data from dark web, from banks or foreign banks, and then you call them from Pakistan and you pretend that you're calling from a bank, you are a representative bank, and then you take information of the credit card and then you empty that credit card through remotely. So this is a fraud. This is a very known fraud of banks and all that stuff. So he was also very reluctant this is the business from where he made money.
With Armaghan in custody, the investigators began to piece together his past, how he gained wealth, what were his financial activities, and what was his link to Mustafa's disappearance.
I spoke to him number of times. I had very long discussions with him for hours and hours, because it's not easy to investigate anyone, because you have to start from his birth probably. So he was born in 1995. Probably he's 30 years old. He has one sister, younger sister, and his father and mother name is Sarah, and his father is Kamran Qureshi. They got married, and it was a love marriage. So they were not able to get along for a long time, but they had 2 kids, and in 2009 they got separated. At the same time, Kamran went to States and he got married to some lady there, and later on Sarah also got married to someone. Armaghan's sister got married later on with someone, and Armaghan was still single. And Armaghan started working when in 2009 he was left. The parents get separated. Armaghan was putting up with his mother, and mother was struggling with her finance, and she was giving tuitions, and she was doing things. That was a really very difficult time for that lady, and she started try to raise her children. So there, Armaghan from there, and when he was 14, he made up his mind. He's a long-term planner. He has very good planning. He execute his planning very nicely, very accurately. And then he joined when he was 19. He did his education later on privately, not from any known institute, but he joined a call center somewhere on Shara Faisal when he was 19. He worked there for 4 years, and he was the best performer there. He himself told me that he is the best performer there, and he knew a lot about this call center business and all this. There he developed his mind that he will open his own call center. Then in Bukhari, he took a flat, and he for 2 or 3 or 4 person call center or line call center or laptop call center, whatever it is, he started there.
Armaghan's father, who had been distant for a few years, saw an opportunity to benefit from his son's success.
From there he started growing, and later on he spoke to his father in United States, okay, I need your account number, I need your help, I'm doing business here, my money will come into your account, and like this. And his father was not like really, initially he was not interested because he left his wife and children. So later on, when there were a lot of money involved, so Kamran also was like, he had a tell to his son now. So he was financially attracted, to be very straight.
Meanwhile, Armaghan was planning to expand his business beyond Karachi.
Then he started planning that he should run 3 call centers in Lahore, Islamabad and Karachi, because this business graph is not stable. Sometimes you can do it, sometimes when there is like LEAs, law enforcement agencies are very strict and they are conducting raid or any information is there, because when you engage so many representative in call center, so it's quite obvious, like after a year and so information is like leaked or people talk or like willingly or unwillingly, so that information can go to some LEAs or FIA or something, so they keep on switching on the business. So he decided to have 3 call centers, but he was not able to execute it.
With increasing scrutiny on digital activities, Armaghan frequently moved locations to stay ahead of law enforcement. But despite these precautions, he indulged in a lavish lifestyle, cars, parties, and excessive display of wealth. As investigators dug deeper, they found that Armaghan's criminal activities extended beyond cyber fraud. His name also appeared in narcotics-related cases.
Armaghan also has a background of narcotics, and reason for that, he was arrested by customs 2 or 3 years back. But after that, he left the business because now he had a lot of money, so he did not get involved in importing or like supplying drugs. So he started buying it because now he had a lot of money through this snooping business. So he left that business, but he has a history there.
Though Armaghan had stopped drug trafficking, he was still deeply connected to Karachi's narcotics scene, now as a consumer.
There are 2 FIRs of customs on Armaghan. Currently, we had no clue that he was supplying, because once it's very logical. Few things are very logical, because once if he is earning like 3 to 4 crores per month, why should he go for like a business which will lead him to like hardly $1 million in a month? But he was a good buyer, I used to say, in a quantity, because he used to throw parties, he has friends, because he has a lot of money, he was putting up a loan. He wanted to spend money, but there was not enough room, how much you can eat or how much cars you can buy or how much parties you can throw.
With such significant drug purchases and a history of cyber fraud, Armaghan was no stranger to law enforcement. But when presented before the court, the case took an unexpected turn. Despite the seriousness of the charges, the court denied police remand, leaving investigators with a few options.
The police decided that they should get a remand of Armaghan from the court. But next day, it was a surprise for everyone, including me. Court did not grant it the remand. I'm not sure what was the core reason for it, but what I think, because when I started investigating Armaghan accent is 100% American. When you will speak to him, his English is too good, and his accent is like American. So when you speak in front of a judge, and you give impression that I am an educated person, I am a learned person, I am financially very sound, please like involving me. This is my statement. I have no background for it. This is how I feel. Police did not give the remand. Now this was a surprise, because now another impression took place in the society and even in the few investigators, that a person putting a plate of Army, 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 on his gate, on his cars. And when I went through his like social setup, so Facebook was like Journal Nawab Armaghan. So this was so it was very, who is Journal, who is Nawab, who is Army, who is Armaghan. A lot of things were like that. The impression was like that for some odd reason we were not able to get the remand of Armaghan. So now this is dead.
Investigators found that despite his wealth, Armaghan had no official record of his assets or transactions.
Armaghan used to make all payments through dollars and hard cash. Both the vehicles were unregistered. He took like that Ford Raptor, the red truck was like for 65 million, and that Audi car was like for 48 million. So the payment is now as of today, FIA is working on it. FIA is because both the vehicles are unregistered. If they are not on anyone's name, no one can make out where they are. So he was smart enough. He used to not like buy a lot of things on his name. He used to make cash payments, not through banks. And he was a bit lucky, or maybe some sort of a like patronage, because he was a smart guy. He knew how to manage things, because if someone is running a business and he's making so much layering to reach him, because what already I have told you, that there was a lot of like layering in his house through CCTV cameras, to like walk through gates and all that stuff.
When asked if external pressure played a role in the court's order, the authorities chose not to comment.
Police got a bit demoralized, especially the lower staff was very demoralized at the same time. So now this was a dead end. Police was like mentally and physically a lot of like they were engaged. So here comes the another turn in the or other twist in the story. Here the intelligence agencies was contacted by CPLC. They were taken on board. They were willing to come on board, and thanks to them, they're always like helpful when something goes like that. So after that, police was engaged in a lot of things which were happening, and a lot of inquiries was going on, and a lot of reports were going on. So CPLC decided that they will not stop and they will keep going on.
With no access to Armaghan, the investigators turned to his household staff, and what they shared helped make a breakthrough.
Servants were not allowed to come in the house. They had a separate room. They were supposed to be inside until and unless they were called to, and they were given a task. Armaghan was again very smart. Technically, he knew a lot of things. And he used to order his food through his servant mobile. He never used his own mobile, because because you cannot order on a WhatsApp number, so you need a proper SIM. So he used to use his servant's number. His servant told both of them separately, when they were like investigated or interrogated, they told the police or the investigators that they heard someone coming inside. They were able to listen to some car coming inside the house. Then later on, after like 40 minutes, 45 minutes, they were able to hear some loud noises from the room of the Armaghan. Then they say, we heard 3 or 4 fires. And after an hour of those fires, they were called both, and they were asked to clean the carpet. And then when they were cleaning the carpet, there were blood stains, and which they were asked to remove. So this gave us the first clue something went wrong. So, but what happened, they never knew, because the servants have never seen the dead body or any person coming in, going out, because they were not allowed to come out from their room until unless they asked to do so. So now there was again a dead end in this case, where there was a clue something happened in his room, but what happened, they were not told.
The staff confirmed that a violent incident had taken place, but there was still no trace of Mustafa Amir. With little else to go, the authorities began tracking a frequent visitor to Armaghan's house, a man initially identified as Chavez.
Later on, we got information from like some food chain, and they told us on the same address of Armaghan house, there was another number which once ordered food at that place, and now this was Shiraz. So this is how we came across Shiraz. So Shiraz was identified. Once we knew his number, we got a hold of his CNIC, his address. He was putting up with his family in phase 2. It's a whole building of his grandmother, like his dadi, and all brothers, his father's brothers in Chacha, Taya, all and Popos are putting up there, but they have family dispute on properties and blah, blah, blah. But we got hold of Shiraz. Shiraz then, because knew, and Shiraz was also a smart chap in a reason, because when police raided a house, Armaghan called Shiraz at the same time to come outside his house to make a movie, what's going on, and to send him so he can check what's going on. He was, through his cameras, he knew actually where police was standing. That way he was effective, because a lot of people ask me that how come one person can do a lot of things. He was fighting, he was deleting data, he was doing this, he was doing that, because 4 hours enough. That was like I told you, that was like a safe house sort of a place. So he used to lock that, He used to delete his data. Technically, he was very sound, and then he used to come outside and he used to fire on police or like that. Then he used to go inside. That was taking place. And at the same time, where camera was not placed, he asked Shiraz to give information through a video call or a video, or he should send it to them. When Shiraz came, Shiraz saw the situation that there is a lot of police and the area has been cordoned off. So Shiraz preferred to escape. And Shiraz there, he did not went to his house. He went somewhere else to his friend house, where he again arranged some flat on rent. And the day he got arrested, he was shifting to that house or that flat. His brother was helping him with him, Shiraz's brother, and Shiraz got arrested.
During interrogation, Shiraz confessed and provided key details.
Shiraz told a whole story to the investigators. I was there. I was called by him. I was there on the New Year Eve or New Year party. He told us who was there. And one misconception is that Mustafa Amir did not came to his party on 31st December 2024. He was not there. He never visited to Armaghan house. So a lot of people saying, I have seen in the social media that a quarrel took place on 31st December and there was a lady and there was a girl, and it's not true. They have nothing to do with it. And then Shiraz told us he was called on the 6th of January, he was called by him, and I went there. I was there. Then Mustafa Amir came, and I had no idea what will happen after some while. But then he told when Mustafa Amir came, they started talking normally. Initially they were talking normally, and then all of a sudden he took an iron rod and started beating Mustafa Amir. Mustafa Amir also was surprised, but somehow Mustafa Amir was able to get hold of that stick from which he was trying to beat him. So then he took his gun, and these were the 3 or 4 fires which took place, which the servants told us in the investigation. But fortunately, according to Shiraz, those fires did not hit him. But Armaghan was continuously beating him badly, very badly, to Mustafa. And that's where his blood dropped on the carpet, which later on servants were asked to clean.
The confession finally filled the missing pieces. Armaghan's drug-fueled behavior and paranoia involving a young woman and law enforcement agencies led to Mustafa's murder.
What Shiraz initially told us that when he was beating Mustafa, he was asking 3 questions. Number 1, how do you know that girl? Number 2, why did you send me the emoji of a banana? And number 3, you are agent of some agency. What is the name of that agency? Sometime he used to call, you are agent of Mossad, sometime this, sometime that. Because at that time also he was high and he was very wild at that time. Then Shiraz told us, then after that he asked me to wrap him up. They took a tape and they blindfolded him. At that time, if he was taken to a hospital, I think he would have easily survived. That's my assumption, but that's what Armaghan and Shiraz told us. So,
But he was unconscious.
Yes, he was unconscious because he was not much of us. He was quite skinny and normal heighted guy. His younger brother is tall, but he's not that tall. He was not that tall. Then they took a tape, they wrapped him properly, his foot, his arms, his hands, his eyes, and then they took him downstairs and put him in the trunk of the car. As Mustafa Amir was a very good drifter. He used to drift on weekends and he used to. So the person who's fond of drifting used extra tires. So there were 2 extra tires in the trunk of the Mustafa Amir car Mark X. They took out those tires and wheels. They put them on the seat and they emptied the trunk. They put Mustafa Amir inside. They took petrol from the generator and they started traveling. And one interesting thing, then Armaghan told Shiraz to open the Google and search for a hunting place because he wanted some abundant place. So he started searching for a hunting place. There were few options. They finalized to go to Balochistan because it was nearby, very abundant. So they started traveling to Balochistan. They crossed all over Balochistan and the good 130 kilometers inside Balochistan. and they reach Doreji police station. That police station is very well decorated because in a like highway where there is no light, there is no life, and all of a sudden a very beautiful police station came. From there he took a U-turn and again he started traveling towards Karachi, and after like 15 kilometers from the police station he took his vehicle off the road to on one side, and there he decided to burn the car. And the initial reason to burn the car was the fingerprints of Armaghan and Shiraz. Because when I asked him that when you had weapon, you would have shot him. Why did you burn the way? So he told me that because I was afraid that my fingerprints would come there because I have drove that car from Karachi till there. So there are a lot of like fingerprints here. So that was the reason.
Armaghan took extreme measures to destroy the evidence, burning the car and everything inside it. The extra tires removed earlier were now placed inside the car, serving as fuel for the fire.
And car got burned very badly just because there were 2 tires inside also. So there were 6 tires burning at the same time because rubber took a lot of time to settle down, to cool down. So that was the reason the car was burned very badly. There was no identification for Balochistan police, even for the body and for the car.
An FIR was filed in Balochistan, but the car and the victim were too badly burned to be identified. As investigation continued, it became apparent that Armaghan had a history of violent behavior. Just days before Mustafa's murder, Armaghan had targeted a young woman.
On 4th January, this is the girl which Armaghan used to ask Mustafa Amir about. She was also called at this on 4th January. In fact, she was not called, she was trapped, I should say, because she is an innocent girl. She never knew about what's going on. As I told you, it was all a misunderstanding. And same behavior was with that girl. Armaghan had the same behavior with that girl, and he started beating her. And you were asking, how do you know him and all that stuff. What I think, or what I know, or what I have seen, what after investigating these Armaghan and Shiraz, it was all misunderstanding. It was all assumption-based story. So that's why it was like, I'm saying it was very unfortunate. It was not true. She was also beaten. She was innocent. She knew nothing about like this whole incident. But she was lucky. She was lucky in a sense because Armaghan used to toss sometimes to make a decision. That's he told me. When he was not able to make a decision himself, he used to take a coin and toss. After that toss, he let the girl go. But Armaghan told that girl the whole story that you will go to the hospital, you will go nowhere, otherwise I will come after you. And that girl was really scared, really scared. And then she went to the hospital, to some hospital in DHA. And Shiraz was sent after her to check that either she has gone to the hospital or to somewhere else. That was the story. But that girl told her family that when she was coming back, some robbers like stopped her and they beaten her and they tried to snatch her phone and all that stuff, which was a make-up story. But the family believed, and they told now on you will not go alone or in late night hours, so that. But if that incident would have reported on time to police, I think Mustafa Amir would have been not killed. You are talking about 3 girls in social media. I have heard about 30 girls. So they all are rumors. Mustafa Amir has nothing to do with that girl. He never knew that girl. Armaghan assumed that Mustafa Amir knows that girl. But really, the fact is that Mustafa Amir never knew that girl. It was almost misunderstanding. And that is the most unfortunate part, that on such a stupid or a small misunderstanding, Armaghan killed Mustafa.
As the case grew stronger, rumors persisted, including one about a message from Mustafa's friend that he had already been killed. Authorities say they found no such message.
No such recording came to my knowledge. I have not listened to it because what I will say, what I have seen, no, I have not seen to that. That voice message that Mustafa Amir sent it to his friend that he is going to Armaghan, that message I have listened with my own ears. So I believe that message and that it's true. But this, Armaghan has killed Mustafa Amir, No, it's not true. It's not true as per my knowledge.
With a complex investigation spanning weeks, investigators worked to piece together the truth about what happened to Mustafa Amir. The evidence gathered from digital trails to eyewitness accounts has been presented and the suspects have been charged. However, the final decision on their fate now rests in the hands of the judicial system. As the case proceeds in court, it will be up to the legal process to determine guilt or innocence and to deliver justice for Mustafa Amir and his family.